Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mariah, for those of you who don't know. So I do book reviews and I haven't done one in it's been over a year. So for that I do apologize. I have read many books since my last review. And like it's over 40 books. So I'm gonna just kind of start fresh and start off with like the recent books, I guess, or the recent series that I've read, and then just go from there. There was some really good books that I've read recently, but one series that we're going to talk about is the Asylum series by Madeline Roux. So it's technically a trilogy, but there's a couple other books, and it was very confusing, so I ended up reading it out of order. So I read the first two, so Asylum and then Sanctum, and Asylum, I wasn't a huge fan of the first book, but I read the second book because I was like, maybe there's, some redeeming quality in the second book, and unfortunately there was not. So I debated on continuing the series or not. I think at one point I decided I was just not going to continue with the series, but recently I've gotten a lot of reading done due to a new job that I have, so I was like, you know what, I paid for the books, I'm just going to read them, get it done, off my shelf, and then just kind of off my to be read shelves, and then just kind of figure out from there if I was going to keep the books or get rid of them after they were all done. I'm going to get rid of them. So a few things that I really didn't like about the series is the main character, like the characters. Like there was no character in any of the books that I particularly cared for. They were, like, all the characters were kind of the same attitude-wise. Like the main character, his name's Daniel. He's not a very likable character at all, and I understand, like, at some points you are supposed to like him. Unfortunately, missed the mark for me. Did not like it at all. I don't recommend this series at all, and honestly, the first book that I read, I do believe in my review on Goodreads, I said I wouldn't recommend this series or this book. And so some of the creepy factor about it, so I understand, like, it's supposed to be like a horror, suspense, thriller type of book, and I mean, I get that. But so some of the photos, so there's pictures throughout the book, and not all of them are stock photos. Some of them are like legit asylum photos, like of patients from many, many, many years ago, back when black and white photos were kind of still a thing. And some of them were kind of disturbing. Even some of the stock photos were kind of disturbing. And I was like, this is a young adult series, and personally, if I was younger and I saw that, I would kind of give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. So that's like one thing that I think the book could have done without the photos, really. Some of them were actually kind of interesting, but not enough. But anyway, sorry, like I kind of got a little off track there. So the main character, not a likable guy. I thought he was just like very self-centered, selfish, and kind of didn't take his friends' feelings into account for a lot of things. I mean, he thought about it, but then he just kind of did it anyway. And honestly, though, it seemed slightly manipulative, and so every character going forward, like his friends were kind of not the nicest either. I mean, one of them wasn't too bad, but the author didn't make it so that you could really get to know the characters. Granted, the books were short, thankfully, in my opinion, but there was really no depth to the characters either, and it was very, very fast-paced, like things were happening within like days, and I just feel like for this series, a little more depth with characters and a little more detail regarding what's going on would have been really nice. The series just kind of not so good. So I read the first three, so Asylum, Sanctum, and then Catacomb. And then from what I understood, because I mean I didn't really look it up too much either, but then there's a fourth book called the Asylum Novellas, and it's books like 1.5, 2.5, and then 3.5, and then they throw in some sneak peeks of the first three books at the very end, which made no sense. That was a whole part of the book that I didn't even bother to read because I was like, I already read the books and there's nothing different in the sneak peeks than what's already in the book that I've read. So the novellas weren't too bad. They were also very short, which was fine, and I'm talking like they were very short, which wasn't too bad, so it did help that book go by pretty quick. And then the other book was called Escape from Asylum. Now that one I actually, like, if I had to choose any book out of this series so far, that's like my favorite, I guess, because that one was like, there was more to read, and like that one had a little bit more depth to the characters. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit. And Escape from Asylum is supposed to be book number 0, so apparently you were supposed to read that before reading anything else in the series, and I had no idea. And so book number 0 and then the novellas book actually came out way past when the first 3 books came out, so there was really no way for people who originally started to read the series, there's really no way for them to read it in order, I guess. But Escape from Asylum wasn't too bad, and it has not much really to do with the main character and his friends, but it does give you a little bit more of an understanding regarding the first book, which was a little nice, because the first book I kind of felt like I was thrown into it without knowing a whole heck of a lot of what was going on and everything like that. So I did not like the series. I mean, if it's something you're into, then like by all means go ahead and read it, but it's not a book I recommend at all. And it was a rough read. I'm glad that the books were short so I could get through them pretty quick. But each book is different. So Asylum is obviously about an asylum. Book number 2, you're going back to where Asylum took place, and it's about kind of like a cult. And then book number 3, you go down south, and at first you're thinking like, oh, like old gangsters, stuff like that. No, it turns into there's another cult, and it just wasn't great. But like I said, if you were interested in reading it, go right ahead. It is the Asylum series by Madeline Roux. Again, don't recommend, but y'all can make your own choices. So, alright, I will come back with another review, hopefully within a couple days. I do know after October I should be able to do reviews a lot more often because then I'm on vacation. So, because my new job is seasonal, so I am able to take the winter off, which is great here in Maine because driving in the winter sucks. So after October, I should be able to start doing more reviews on books, maybe even do some backtracking on books that I've already read, because according to Goodreads, I've had to change my reading challenge goal for the year a few times, so we'll see. Alright, if you'd like to see more book reviews, or if there's a book you are wanting me to read and do a review on, please just list it down in the comments below and hit that subscribe button. Alright, bye!